What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. In today's episode, I sit down with Jesse Ramos. He is a commercial painting contractor, and he says, I want employees. I'm tired of working with subs. I want to have some control over my pricing, my business, and he feels like he's not getting that with his current model. So we came up with a great strategy to help him hire employees and break into the residential market. So this is a great business breakthrough, a lot of awesome principles. I think Jesse got a lot out of this one, and it starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. All right, what's going on, everyone? I'm here with Jesse Ramos, TJ's Pro Painting. This guy's awesome. He wants me to grill his business. That's what he just told me to do. I'm not going to do that. We're going to hammer out some strategy. We talked though the other not too long ago. You said all you do is commercial work, though, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, Tanner. What's
going on, man? What's an area in your business right now that you're just like, dude, I need to figure this out, man. It's stressing me out. And you're a happy guy, so I can't really picture you stressed.
I'm happy, man. I'll tell you, man. The Lord is good, man. I'm blessed. So I don't have much to complain about, but there is some stuff in my business I would like to get better at.
Okay.
I'm constantly trying to learn and things like that, right? So I'm not sleeping on anything. But what I'm having a little bit of trouble with is more. So I do submodel right now.
Okay.
And I'm having I've been getting around more experienced painter or people that have been running a streamlined paint business.
And they have employees?
Yeah, and they have employees and everything. Like, they don't do nothing. Like, they're just like chilling. And I'm like, man, like, I want to create that employee culture, atmosphere, and have my business streamlined to instead of work, like they all say, instead of working in it, work out,
on it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I read a ton of books, right? And that's what got me just kind of keep learning and learning.
So what book has stood out to you the most that you've read?
Traction. Yeah. Traction.
Okay.
Is probably the one that's the most, I think that's the one where it talks about the lady and the cake.
Okay.
Like that, yeah.
That was E-Myth.
That was E-Myth. Oh, wait, yeah, E-Myth.
So yeah, lady with the cake shop.
That was E-Myth, sorry. There's E-Myth, and I also read Traction.
Okay.
And they're both really good. I kind of forgot what Traction was about. But.
That's all right. But yeah, E-Myth is the one that pretty much helps you see, hey, man, I'm not good here in the business, and I need to get out of the business in order to be effective. So you want to start a sub. Now, how many subs do you have? Like, what's your operation look like?
And so I have I have a total of like 4 or 5, and I have a big crew that does like big jobs, but I like to keep like the whole like 3-man.
How much revenue are you doing per week?
So it's kind of up and down because I'll get like a big job and then like I'll get like a few small jobs. I'm at, for like this year, I think we're going to be at, and it might be even more, but like 1.3.
Great for the year.
It's pretty good.
And what is the profit on that? What do you think you're going to net off of that?
So so this year, I've actually gotten way better at like job costing and stuff. And I've noticed that I'm running really inefficient. So I had employees, but they were kind of like slacking off and the leadership wasn't there. So I kind of, I let the ones that weren't really performing kind of go by themselves, and they just kind of left. And then the ones that were kind of okay, I made them a sub. So No, I use them. They're like my super sub. You know what I mean?
That's like your most trustworthy team.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty.
So in other words, if I'm your subcontractor, what is my percentage? Like, what are you normally cutting me to do the job? How are you figuring out how much I get paid?
My target's 50%. That's what I'm
About
trying
50,
to.
I get 50 with, do I have to provide materials or you got to
Yeah,
provide
you
materials?
provide material. Yeah.
So I provide materials and you make 50% gross profit.
Yeah.
You'd be doing pretty well. I mean, at that rate.
Yeah. So but I like I was so I barely started doing that. I want to say around March. Like actually
Okay.
being like, all right, 50%, no matter what. But what'll happen sometimes is the fact that I'll bid a job and then the sub will be like, man, that's not enough money. And I'm like, all right, well, let's, tell the other
Yeah.
sub now. The guy's like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I'm like, I'm like, well, I can't bring all of y'all to the same place because they all want to
Right.
see it. I got pictures. Pictures don't do justice, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where it kind of gets a little bit, you know.
Yeah. So the job types that you're taking, how are you getting these jobs and what are they? Like, is it commercial? Like, is it industrial work or is it like commercial apartment buildings? Like, is it exterior? Is it interior? What type of jobs are they?
So we work with a lot of schools. So they're like independent school districts, facility managers jobs.
Do you enjoy this type of work? Like do you like doing this stuff?
To be honest, yeah. So I used to work with a lot of general contractors, but two of them went bankrupt on me last year, and they owed me like 55 G's, and they just disappeared and started new companies. So
Do you find that you're having like, do you have cash flow issues like with these jobs? They take a while and then you're on a net 30. Is that something you're running into?
yeah, so I'm on a net 30 or 60. But so I kind of saved up a lot of money to get in the
To
space.
cover it?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working with. Was like these past couple of years, there are a few years I've been in business. Well, it's a lot now, but like around, I think I told you 7, but it might have been 6. But
Right.
I just kind of reinvest and save and save and save to kind of do these bigger projects to be able to cash flow them. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds stressful. I'll be honest.
Man, boy, I tell you,
It sounds
that's what
stressful. I
throws me
mean,
off.
that's not, I mean, to me, that's not like, that's not business, man. Like that's not, I mean, it's business. I mean, it's going to work, but to me, it's not like you're not like in a happy place, man. Like where you're like sitting back thinking like, man, like my business is under control. It sounds like you're in survival mode every day.
Well, see, and that's why, man, that's why I wanted to get on the on this grill session. You know what I'm saying? Because because I feel like everybody's like, man, you're doing great, you're doing great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right, but like I feel
I
like
mean, great isn't defined by like money. Like, I mean, as much as we say that, like, that's the metric that we base our success off of. I don't base my success off of money, and I don't think you do either, because you're hitting 1.3 million, and you're at a point where you want me to grill your business.
yeah,
I mean, and the problem is that you feel like you have no ownership. You feel like you have nothing
exactly.
proprietary. You feel like you have nothing to give or sell. Any of these subs can walk away from you, and you're down to nothing. That's scary. And you want
Yeah.
some proprietary ownership now. And I think you're at a good place because you've made so many mistakes and you learned so much through your experience. You're ready for that. I think you need to tap into the residential market with employees. I think that if you're trying to create culture, I think one thing that you should do right now is you should leave commercial how it's running until you build up residential to the point where it overtakes commercial. Because if you start trying to create processes in commercial and camaraderie, teamwork, morale, all that stuff, dude, you're so far removed from that commercial environment that's going to be really hard for you to do because you're not going to be there. It's not like you're just going to magically just start going to these jobs now when you're comfortable in your place, right? You're not just going to start going there and teach, it's not going to happen. Like you don't have the ability to create that environment in an empty school. I mean, one
Yeah.
person's 300 yards away from the next person, And it's just like, yeah, go paint this, man. You know, and there's nothing there. There's no heart there, man. Like, and I think that if you make it a priority to say, you know what, I'm going to break into the residential market. Obviously, you know how to paint a house. You know that, and you're very customer service oriented. You can speak very well. All these things will equate to success in the residential market. No, I'm being dead serious. You know, so it's like that's what the commercial market lacks is customer service. You're in a business right now where customer service they don't even care about. They just want you to get in, paint, get out. They don't care if you were nice on the phone or if you asked how their dog was doing. Like those are things that your customers right now don't care about. Your customers care about one thing, and make sure you understand this very well. That little dollar amount that they've been assigned to cover the painting costs of the project, right? And whether or not you can do the job for that assigned dollar amount. That's all they care about. So for you, like, I feel like it's time to pivot. And that's a really good book you should read too, Pivot, where you're essentially, it's time to make the switch, man. It's time to shift. I have it over there. In other words, like you don't even need to read the book, just get it so you can see the cover of it where it says pivot, you know, and all that means is like when your business is heading in one direction, right now you're at what we call a crossroads where there's an opportunity mentally for you to say, you know what, I'm considering moving directions. You're at a crossroads right now. And what you need to do is you need to say, okay, now it's time to pivot in this direction before this crashes. All right. So what you're probably looking at is there's a crash coming in your vehicle, whether it's, you know, metaphorically, or it could be just, you know, the business just implodes. Your subcontractor relationships fall through. You're not looking at major contracts coming in the next few months. You're probably thinking like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to sustain in this direction. That's when it's time to pivot. That's what the smart business owners do. They change directions quick. And I think that you're at a stage right now where you should prepare to tap into the residential market because you can, number one, create a team of employees that go and do this. Now, you can start off with just 2 guys that are your employees that you know can deliver between $3,000 and $5,000 a week in churn revenue if they do full houses, right? You know, and then you build up that team. I like teams of 4. So you should say, okay, my goal is to create a team of 4. And I want to see if I can keep them busy every single week with residential work. And then you're going to say, okay, a team of 4 can accomplish 25 to 30,000 in a month. Okay. At capacity. That all comes down to, number one, what type of jobs you take. I think in the beginning you should only take, and you're in Texas, so you can paint exterior year round there.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
It freezes like last time.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's a huge advantage for you because you can take exterior painting and interior painting. That doubles your market size. So every house is a customer twice, you know? So for me, I look at it like that. I say, okay, the market's huge. I can control the marketing. This is one thing that you can't do right now. I know you can't control your marketing. Like if people don't call you for work right now, you're screwed because how can you advertise your work to a commercial marketplace? It's hard. They have their own network of contractors they've been using for years, and you're competing against price every single day. Yes? Yeah. Right. And you got to say yes so people don't think that you're ignoring me on the podcast.
No. Yeah.
I'm just playing. You know? He's like shaking. He's like thinking. He's like, yeah, man, this is all true. So it's a better life when you're not always competing against price because customers, homeowners, like you have a house, right? You live in a home.
Yeah.
Did you ever invite a contractor to come give you a quote for something?
I did.
What were they giving you a quote for? What was the last thing you got a quote for?
To put a culvert in the driveway.
How many quotes did you get?
I got 3.
Okay. Did you go with the highest one?
I thought about it because he was probably the best looking.
Did you go with the lowest one or the middle?
No. I didn't really trust that guy. He looked a little sketchy.
You went with the middle guy, right?
I actually did it myself.
Oh, you did it yourself. No, yeah. You're a horrible homeowner. No, because you're a contractor. But was there ever a time where you actually hired somebody to do work?
No.
You just did everything.
No,
so you're a bad example.
Yeah.
But when you saw those sales processes, you're a contractor. Many of your customers aren't going to paint their house by themselves. Follow me here.
No.
You're a contractor, so you can think like, yeah, I could do it. But when you got those estimates, you really considered going with the highest bidder. Why? Was his personality on point? Was his customer service there? Was his knowledge there? Like, did he give you a better presentation than the other 2?
I think it was the knowledge and kind of explained everything better.
It
Versus,
was the trust, right? It
yeah,
was hey, you're coming to my home now, and I got to make sure that I feel safe with you around my kids and my wife. You
yeah,
know, that's a man's mentality. Anybody listening to this knows exactly what the freak I'm talking about,
yeah,
right? You got to make sure that anyone comes in your world here that they're going to be able to function properly. And you said, "Oh, I didn't trust that guy." It's the first thing you said when I
yeah,
asked you about the lower bid, right? So you weren't buying based off of price. You were buying based off of trust. It's an easier sell, and you're going to make a greater margin, and you're going to be able to pay people better. Right now, your subs are fighting for the same. They're fighting for scraps. If you're already pricing your jobs to compete with price, then you're having to give them 50% of that. No wonder they're like, "Hey, man, $100 on this one isn't going to work."
yeah.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about that, man? Can you see that plan going to fruition? What do you think about that?
So, man, so the residential market is like I guess I was kind of like under the, I had my sunglasses on or something because I really didn't see the opportunity, and so I started hanging out with some guys that were doing it, making so much million in the residential market, and I'm like, what? Y'all are doing this much? Like, because to me, I'm like, man, they're like, because the thing what happens now is I'll get a residential project, and I'm like, I don't want to go look at it because like I got this big project over here I'm trying to like look at, you know what I mean? So I'll kind of like put it on the back burner.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it just depends on what the profit is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, it just depends on, but when you came to me, one of your biggest things was you wanted to create a team atmosphere. You wanted to create camaraderie. You wanted to create, all these things that, that a company thrives off of, like, where you can say, okay, these guys are wearing my uniform. They're wearing my brand. They're representing customers the way I want them to be represented. And I'm saying right now, you're at an opportune time. Normally I'm teaching people how to do this without cash flow coming in. So like for you have the ability to come in like a franchise, dude. I'm talking, you can create a super fast, effective hiring strategy. I have a hiring course. I'll give it to you. It's how to hire people in a residential market. You can take that course for free. So that'll get you kickstarted on that. Second thing is you want to market. Spend the money on marketing, man. I'll connect you with somebody I know who does Facebook ads. You can do Facebook ads. Now you have two things in place. You don't have to change your business. You don't have to sign up for an LLC. Operate it under the same company, bro. And all you're doing is a test. And what you're testing is can I find two people that I want to be my employees, invite them to your office, do interviews with them, just like I teach you in my hiring course, and then find somebody to bring you leads and just see what happens. Okay. And you go and do the estimates. Do you do the estimates for what you do now?
Yeah, I do all the estimates right now.
Perfect. And you already have Dripjobs. So we're going to put your leads right into Dripjobs. They're going to be nurtured, and then you're going to be able to convert them automatically in there. So it's like you have all the tools to just try this out. And I think that like, I would love to go further with you on this topic, but I think like that's your only option if you want to create what you're trying to create. Number one, you need to challenge yourself enough to hire, and you need to pay someone to bring you leads and see what happens. You handle the sales, done deal.
So, because
you're not that far away.
What I noticed with residential is I price myself out of a lot of work, especially on the interior stuff.
Right.
So I'll just be like, and I guess I need to be better at my whole sales process deal. But
yeah, I mean, the sales process, I have a sales course, I mean, I can teach you all that stuff, I mean, we bring it, man, but it's not so much, it's all about costs. Like when you price jobs, you are pricing everything based on a cost. You're identifying, number one, what's my labor going to be and what's the materials going to be for the job. And it's the same thing with residential, right? So let's say you pay two guys $25 an hour on the books. So it comes out to $30 an hour after taxes, workers' comp, and all that. It's $60, right, for the hour, right? And then let's say you come to my house. I got a 2,000 square foot house here, and you talk to the crew leader and say, how many days do you think it's going to take on this one? He says 3. Okay. So that means each person is owed 8 hours per day. So each person gets 24 hours. That's times 2 because there's 2 employees. That's 48 hours. So that means that we need to do 48 times the $30 an hour, and that gives us our total labor cost. So for example, in that example, it's going to be $40 an hour, or excuse me, 30 times 48. Okay. So that means for you to have the job done at my house, it's going to cost you $14.40. Okay. Just like that. So now you know all in what your labor cost is. Then what's the paint going to be? Let's say use 20 gallons here. It's a lot of paint, but let's say you overestimate it. 20 gallons of paint times, let's see, $40 a gallon is $800. Okay. All right. So that comes out to $14.40 times 800. So let's say your costs for this job, $14.40 plus 800. Sorry. Say your costs for this job are $22.40. Okay. How would you price the job?
I just flip it.
Times 2, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's easy. So, I mean, that's your price, $44.80. Now, let's say I tell you that's a little too high. What do you say to me? So you're not used to negotiation as much, because in commercial work, there's no negotiation really. It's just like, okay, this is what they want. Obviously, they might come back to you and say, this is what the budget, but you lose that opportunity. In home sales, you can go into that house, present that price, wait for you to react to me. So tell me my price is too high.
Your price is way too high.
Oh, man. Let me ask you this. Have you ever gotten your house painted by a professional painting company before?
Not this one.
Not this one. That's right. So let me tell you a little bit about why our price is what it is. And then we'll talk a little bit about how I can maybe help align our price with what your expectation is. And then we can see if we can come to a mutual agreement, you know, and that's if you really need a job. Okay. Because really what it is it doesn't matter in the beginning if you're making 50% on every job. Like for me, it's like, this is supply and demand. Right now in my company, I'm booked out for 2 months. I don't budge on price. Like there's no negotiation. But with home sales, you have a couple negotiation opportunities. Number one, you can do a value proposition. So for example, you might notice outside their house that they have a detached garage that could really use a pressure wash, and the roof outside of that garage could use a pressure wash. You can say, listen, you know, I know that this price you may think be a little outside of what you had expected, but I'll tell you what, if you allow me to earn your business today, I'll throw in pressure wash in that garage, the roof and the house. How's that sound? You know, let them make the assumption of what value that is. And they might say, you know what, the hassle of me trying to find someone to do that is worth paying him what he wants to get paid for this job. He clearly wants the job. So that's a value proposition. That's you doing something without lowering the price. Yeah, you have a cost, but it's not going to be much if you have your employee do it. All right. So that's one way. And then number two is obviously you can ask what their expectation is. So you might say, Tanner, your price is too high. I'm going to say, well, what was your expectation? You know, what did you expect to pay? Well, they might say, you know, we wanted to be at about 3,500. You're at 4,400. They're at 3,500. So your job now is to sell $1,000 worth of value, because that's the difference. So you know that you could sell the job for 3,500. You'd probably be at about 20%. So you know you have a job, but it's just a matter of how much you want to make. So like, that's where it comes into negotiation. You could do that in home sales. You know, I've done it for years. Like, you know, there's people that I have negotiated $150 off. They told me that the price was too high. I gave them some value. I explained who we were, our processes, built more trust, continued to showcase how invested I was, offered value. And then I said, listen, I'll take $150 off if you allow me to earn your business today. Here's the pen.
There you go. So that's one of the, so because I always hear these guys talking about we're booked out for so much, and the way we are is like, we kind of, like you were saying, it's not consistent. Right. You kind of take what the calls, and then kind of like some other avenues, and you know, it's hard to forecast. Like
it is. It's definitely hard to forecast. You know, but what we need to do obviously is create predictability any way we can, man. And that's it starts with marketing. If you have someone that can deliver you the exact type of job types you want, okay, then you're not taking random things, and you're putting your team in a position to produce consistent results that allows you to schedule effectively, that allows you to price effectively because you know the cost ahead of time of doing the same project over and over and over again. So you have to identify, I'm only going to take full exterior repaints. I'm only going to take full interior repaints. So you're not going to take 1 to 2 bedrooms. That's not your job type. You're not going to take wallpaper removal. You don't do that. You're not going to take popcorn. You're not going to do that. You're going to just take full house painting to maintain the integrity of your pricing, your scheduling, and your marketing. Like that's how you do it. So let me give you those resources. I'll give you the hiring course. I'll send you the link for the sales course because I want you to buy that so you actually take it and you go through it. And then I'll connect you with a marketer, man. I have this bundled package ready for you if you're ready to take the leap.
Gotcha.
Was that helpful?
Man, yeah, super helpful, man.
All right. Helpful. Can we connect again on here? Maybe like 2 weeks?
Man, yeah, I would. I'd like that. That's what I was about to tell you, man. I was like, man, if we had a little bit more time, but
we do. But I've learned that I got to give you some things to start with before I unleash the rest. Like if you tell me in 2 weeks, Tanner, all right, I got the 2 employees that are gonna work on the residential side full time. I already signed up with the marketer. Okay. I got it locked in and ready to go. I already sold a couple jobs. Then we can talk strategy from that point.
So if I guess I'll do that work for the right now. Okay.
I'm gonna send you some stuff when we get off the call.
All right, that works, man. That works.
All right, Jesse. Thanks, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com. And we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.